Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I am back today. We're going to make a fun double strand wrap bracelet. We're going to be using some of this really pretty pink 2mm leather cord from Jesse James Beads. And I was so excited when Jesse James Beads introduced some really fun charms and beads with enamel and really bright colors. These are right up my alley and perfect for spring and summer that we're heading into here. So we're going to use this as a focal on our double strand wrap bracelet, and then we're going to make a really quick coordinating necklace after the wrap bracelet. In this bracelet, I am also going to use some little teeny tiny thunder polish beads in this bright blue, and I just thought this pale pink and that bright blue looks so great together with our enamel bead, and it's got a huge hole on it. And then we're going to also use some end findings. These are 2mm loop end findings in the antique brass color. They also have them in silver. So to get started, I'm going to measure how long I need my bracelet to be by just using a double wrap on my wrist. So I'm just going to go around my wrist twice with this 2mm leather. So here's one length around, and it's a little bit overlapping, and then I'm just going to double it, and there we go. I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter than I actually need my bracelet to be, because I have to incorporate in a clasp and the end finding. So the end finding, some of the leather is placed inside of the finding, but then there's a loop on the outside, plus we'll need a jump ring and whatever clasp I choose. So I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter, and we can test that as we go. So what I'm going to do is grab some glue, and in this case I'm going to use some strong glue. I'm going to use some E6000, and I just have a little plastic baggie, and I'm going to push out a little bit of my E6000 because it can get a little gummy, so I just want to have some pushed out and then put my cap back on. And I'm only doing one side right now, so I don't need a whole lot, and then I'll just get out some more when we do the finishing end. So I am going to apply that glue to the end of my leather pretty liberally, because what we can do with E6000 is kind of clean off anything that squeezes out, but we want to make sure we have enough to close that gap around our leather. And I'm just going to let that sit in there. And you really want that to dry for probably an hour or so before trying to move it. And you can clean that up with a toothpick. I'm just going to let that dry. The good thing is it dries clear, so we don't have to worry about it really showing too much. And I'm just going to swirl it a little bit. I'm not going to swirl it too much because I don't want that to come out. I'm going to set that aside. And while that's drying for a little bit, I'm going to get out my thunder polish beads. I'm also using some 19 strand bead stringing wire in gold from Beadalon today. And I am going to string 2 wraps worth of these teeny tiny, I think these are 1mm beads. They might be 1mm or 2mm. These are 2mm, and the color is indigo. And what I'm going to do is just take off the end one. And when I string these, I don't dump a whole bunch out. I pull them off of the strand they're on, like this, and then try and string as many at the same time as possible. When you're holding them like this, it's a little bit easier to get that string or that beading wire to go through several. So you're not picking up several beads or using your eyesight to find tiny holes on beads that are not facing the same direction. Even if you do one bead at a time, it's a little bit easier when you're holding a pinch full of beads instead of picking them up one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and string as many as I need to wrap around my wrist 2 times. Okay, so I have my crystals strung, and I haven't been able to decide on a clasp. Normally with bracelets, I always go with a toggle because it's easy for me to put on one-handed. We have this really blinged up magnetic clasp also from Jesse James Beads. So I think it's up to you if you want a little bit more bling and want to put on a magnetic clasp, or if you just like to go with a toggle. And then what we're going to do here is not just have obviously the crystal in the leather, and I did go ahead and glue on my second end. We're going to string this beautiful bead, this beautiful enamel bead, onto our thunder polish beads. So we're going to have beads on beads in this bracelet. Now if you want, you can totally string it onto the leather, but I rarely, if ever, have strung a bead onto beads. So I think that just looks really cool. I am going to crimp the bead stringing wire onto a jump ring. I'm just going to use some crimp beads from Beadalon. And I will just string on a crimp, my jump ring, and then the crimp again. And I'm just going to use my my crimping pliers, making sure that those wires are not crossed, which they are. So I'll uncross them, scoot that down, and I will put that little crimp bead in the largest valley of my crimping pliers and squish. Then I'll turn it 90 degrees and move it up my crimping pliers to the next groove. Squish again, and we're just going to do that up the grooves. There we go. And now that turns into a little bead. You can put a bead cover on it, but I don't think this needs it in this instance. Since these beads are so tiny, I'm just going to snip my wire at the end here at the crimp bead, getting as closely, cutting as closely as possible. So I'm gonna just get right up there and snip that off. Okay, we'll move down the beads. Isn't that fun? And then, you know me, I like fidgeting. I like things that'll be interactive, so it'll move around for me. Another cool thing you could do is incorporate some other beads in here. So let's say you could put just a few thunder polish and then to where this bead will move around, and then you can use a larger bead here as a bead stopper, so it'll stay in place where you'd like it on your bracelet. I don't mind. I want mine to be moving all around. So I am going to go ahead and recreate that same crimping step on the other end of my wire. And here I don't want a straight line when I'm crimping, because we want the bracelet to be able to conform to my wrist. If we do a straight line, it's not going to look great and it's not going to be comfortable to wear. This end will be just a touch more tricky because we're not coming down through a bead to cut off your excess wire once we've crimped, but it should be okay. I'll take my crimping pliers and just do the exact same thing we did on the other side of the bracelet. Now, if you don't want a wrap bracelet, you can totally just do this exact same thing, but with less beads. Here we go. And we have part of our wrap. I'm going to go ahead and trim. And if you just want one wrap, well, two wraps, that's totally fine, but I'd like a double strand wrap bracelet because I haven't made a double strand wrap bracelet before. So here I am just going to take our same jump ring and being careful not to pull off our crimped piece, open that jump ring up, slide on our leather, and close it up. And then we'll come to the other side and do the exact same thing, making sure that our wire or our pieces aren't tangled, so we want them to not cross over each other. Here we go. And actually, what I'm going to do while I'm on this side is attach our jump ring to part of our toggle, or the magnetic clasp, if that's what you so choose. And we'll come over here and do the same thing. Now, Jessie Jane's Beads has some really cool charms right now, and they're right up my alley. So I think I'm going to add another one to this. And I was thinking either the back or to the leather. So I haven't decided. This could serve as a choker if you have a very small neck, but I love this one. And if you hold it up to the light, you can see that some of these crystals are blue, and they look perfect with our blue thunder polish beads. So you could hook this right on to our leather, and you have something else that's interactive and moving around, or you can hook it to a jump ring on the back. And I'm going to try it on and see where I'd like it to be. All right, originally I was leaning towards putting the charm on our clasp or hanging it off the bottom, but I really think with this moving around, I want to have the other charm moving around on the leather, and I think it's just going to be super cute. So I'm going to take this off and go ahead and attach my Evil Eye charm to the pink leather. And I don't think it really matters where I put it because it'll be moving around. Just want to make sure that it faces out from the blue and not towards it. Like this. And we're going to have a super cute bracelet that I'm going to wear all the time because it's also really comfortable. But with all the colors, it really will go with a lot of different things. If you're wearing blue, if you're wearing pink, if you're wearing white, green, or even a hotter pink, gold, it'll go really well with a lot of things. And it's super trendy with these different enamel charms right now. So let me flip this around. And if you'd like, it can be a convertible piece. You can get a piece of chain and put a toggle clasp on each side of the chain, and then you can make it into a necklace. So there is my double strand, double wrap bracelet, which I'm so excited about. I'm going to have to make way more of these because it's so cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's my new favorite piece. And then I just want something that I can layer with other pieces that will coordinate with this. So I'm getting out some of this bitty chain in gold. And the bitty chain comes with a few little cup connectors that you can hook into a jump ring and then your clasp. So this is 36 inches. I'm probably going to measure out maybe 22 inches of this. And I am going to put on my last charm so I can have a necklace that will coordinate with my bracelet, but also go with so many different things. I'm definitely going to be using this as a stacker, and it's just going to be so cute. It's going to be so cute. All right, I'm going to trim it right here. And then I'm going to get out our little cups, or clamshells, or whatever you want to call them. The easiest way that I've found is to hold your cup like this and hold it down at one point with your thumbnail. I slide the end of one of the balls into the cup and then kind of hold that for a second. And I always get my crimping pliers because they're a little pointier, but anything will work really. And then you just want to kind of close that in there like a little clamshell. And there you go. So there's the end of your little chain. And I've already put my charm on, so I'm going to do my other end. Close that up. And then I'll get out my little bead-along kit again and grab a clasp and a couple of jump rings. So we have a bigger one. And you want to be careful. Larger gauge jump rings might not fit through these findings because the holes are a little tiny. So I'm going to find a thinner gauge jump ring. There we go. And so I have something bigger to hook on. I'm going to use a big one as well. Take your smaller one. And I always put my clasp on the right-hand side of the necklace because I'm right-handed. But if you're ambidextrous or you use your left hand, you can totally put it on the other side. I'm just a little clumsy when it comes to my left hand sometimes when I'm doing clasps. So I'll put that in there. Put the clasp on. And close that up. And then I'm just going to make sure that this jump ring is closed. And I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. And you can leave it with just the smaller jump ring, but it's easier for me to grab onto a larger jump ring. So I'll close that up. And here we go. And there we go. So that's a fun stacking necklace. And like I said, you could even turn this into a necklace if you'd like. I am obsessed with these charms. And I hope you liked the project I made today. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you to Jessie James Beads for having me back. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.